Yeah. In your house with O'Con. Hey, O'Con in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We as them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast just like cruiserweight action. In your house is the perfect distraction. Pumpers in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smoke. What is up, guys? What is cracking? It's the Con Man, and I am in your house. And you guys already know the vibes. Anytime we slide on through, we're here to give you that work when it comes to this professional wrestling business. And it is that time, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I've been chilling out doing my thing this weekend. We got a big weekend coming up here pretty soon. It's your boy's birthday this Saturday. That is right. Yes. Your boy, the concept himself, 38 years old, ladies and gentlemen, this coming Saturday. And I get to spend my birthday doing some really cool shit with some really cool people. We're going to talk about it. We have a really big guest here on the show as well. Last night was Saturday night main event for the WWE. We'll talk about that later on in the episode. But once again, like I said, this is the continuation, ladies and gentlemen, of the heART of Indy docuseries, everything that's going down around Indianapolis, around the Royal Rumble. It's going to be a massive weekend. Combat Crossroads, a lot of great things happening, and it's given me the opportunity to get some really great guests. But before we bring that guest on, I got to bring my co-host on because they're going to be sitting in with me as well. And of course, we talk about my man. We just had SmackDown. He covers SmackDown, handles everything when it comes to SmackDown. That is my man, the Grunmeister here in your house. What's up, man?
Yo, what is up, Howse? It is happy Sunday. Day, happy football day.
Yes. Yes, man. I see you got your jersey on. Listen, man, those Commanders could give you some trouble, bro.
They are absolutely going to give us some trouble because it's no secret to the NFL. If you shut out Saquon Barkley, if you shut down Jalen Hurts, we're screwed. Our defense can only do so much.
Man, I like that Jaden Daniels kid, man. Most definitely. A little bit before the show, we were saying he was from LSU. I was like, wow, like I could see that. It's a good program and whatnot up there. We'll definitely talk more about that, man. But we talk about a guy, he was talking a little football as well, and always good to get him on when we come on. He hates football, honestly. I mean, he cannot, I mean, with the team that he's chosen, the path that he's taken, I mean, most definitely I would see why you would hate football. But you know what he does love to do? That's Get Extreme on Fridays. That's the ECW watch long series. ECW Hardcore TV also hosts Window Lickers here on In Your House. The voice, Josh Joseph, here at In Your House. What is up, man?
How goes it, house? How goes it, household? Grunmeister, how are your villains doing? Any chaos goblins out there? It is correct to find out that, yes, I have chosen a hard path in football, but I've chosen an easy path in here and joining everybody for a Sunday house party with this exciting guest. I've been researching them. I'm going to let you do your job, House. That's what I'm going to do.
I appreciate you, man. You know what I do. You know what I do, bro. Because here's the thing. I get a chance to not only watch stars like this, but also get a chance to be backstage and talk to them a little bit. And man, I got to tell you, as somebody who admires wrestling, like I'm in there, bro. Like I get a chance to do commentary for shows and you know, help promote things like this right here, like we're doing here with the podcast, and we're riding into our 6th year. One of the biggest things that I've enjoyed is seeing things from afar and picking unique people's brains and being able to dive in there and see, especially when they're in the heat of such a unique path, career, because not every path to success in pro wrestling is linear, and I love the different routes that you get a chance to see. And I got a chance to see this cat about 2 years ago for the first time. I was working a Naptown All Pro show doing backstage stuff, and I'd already seen this athlete before. And I just had to let them know. I was like, yo, I love your work. You are amazing. And they were like, oh, thank you. I didn't feel like they were still like really starting out. But the things that they have done since that moment is just staggering. I mean, seen on GCW and whatnot, coming in at 490 on the PWI from the Forgotten State here at In Your House. Noah Vale, we're going to find out if they're over or not. What is up, Noah?
Hi, that was a fantastic introduction. The problem that I have with my career in general is that I do a lot of stuff, and then because of that, I'm moving constantly, and I just forget half of the things that I do. So it's always nice to be like, "Oh, yeah, that did happen. I did do that. That's sick."
Yeah, no, it's always good to get a chance to go back and reflect. And just, I mean, I know when you're in there just trying to make moment after moment after moment and make a name for yourself and stay in the public eye and stay in the public's mouth, which you've managed to do so consistently. It's always good to sometimes stop and reflect where you are and where you've been. And I'm just excited to have you on the show to talk about some of those things. And of course, the big weekend that we have coming up here for Naptown All Pro Combat Crossroads.
Very much so.
Yeah, it is going to be an exciting conversation. So, Noah, it's a lot of things moving on in the professional wrestling business, and we want to talk about your match that you have coming up this weekend, this Saturday. You got a lot of work that you're going to be doing this upcoming weekend. It's going to be great, but I got to ask you this. I know you've been riding here to Nap for such a long time and doing work in the city as a great competitor. I got to ask you, this upcoming weekend that we have coming up, Combat Crossroads, everything going around the city's first ever Royal Rumble. This is going to really be the first time that we do something like this. And of course, you see it they're certainly going to do it in Vegas, done it in Philadelphia with Mania, the Mania week. It's always such a pivotal, big thing, key thing in a competitor's, in a wrestler's resume to be like, hey, I worked Mania week. And I think I think that it's going to be big to be able to say, hey, I worked the week of Royal Rumble. I got to ask you, as somebody who's in the trenches, in the mix, doing everything that you're doing, is that something that you've thought about?
So wrestling's a bit weird. I've never had a WrestleMania weekend experience. The week that we were supposed to have it in the home state of the Forgotten State of Florida, for those of you who haven't figured out the bit yet, we didn't get our full experience due to the fact that shutdowns and it raining and all these different things. So a lot of the experiences that were kind of supposed to be granted for us in my home state were kind of taken away from us with that. I consider Indianapolis and the Midwest in general my second home. I think anybody who's familiar with the work that I do and who I am as a person at this point in the myriad of places that I go and run my mouth at, I love the Midwest, and to get that experience in my second home is something that is not completely lost on me. It's not something I'm necessarily focused on, as like I said, I tunnel vision for the goal that is in front of me. And I think that it's something that when it comes time for, once everything is over, when I'm on the long drive or the long plane ride home, and I get that moment of solitude to really think about it, it's something that's going to hit me then. But right now, I think I'm more so just focused on getting the shit done, man. It's a lot of work. We have to organize cars and driving and flights, and we have to make sure that we have places to eat, and that I'm a very bougie human being, so I can't just go to a McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like it's too much. It's too much.
Most definitely. I love to hear it. And like, Like I said earlier about the moment that I got a chance to meet you at Naptown when I worked that show, when I saw you, I was like, this is a person that is going to be big. And it seems like that is most definitely the path that is being taken right now, as you've had a chance to do things like debut on GCW, do things like come in at 490 on the PWI 500. I got to ask you once again, I know it's hard to kind of take those things in, but I mean, when you had those first moments, I got to ask you, what was it like? Did it give some validation to what you were doing, or like, what was your thoughts when you had those moments?
Each of them individually, I think. So any list in professional wrestling is a little bit it's a little bit strange for me, mostly due to the fact that it is kind of a validating source after the fact. The PWI specifically was one that was a really huge moment for me, just because I remember being in high school as a young independent wrestling fan, and buying Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazines in the like checkout of Publix, the grocery store with fantastic chicken fingers, by the way. And I seeing my name inside of the magazine that I was buying with like extra spare cash that I got or whatever, was a really big validating moment for 17-year-old me, which is a thing that I always say. I do a lot of the things that I do for me when I was 17. That was definitely one of those moments. Debuting for GCW and doing Big Gay Brunch, and that's something that I think my brain classifies as, I don't know, it's something that I do more so for, representation in the community and for the people that are coming up behind me, because I know that once I break down those doors, it'll be easier for other people. There are a lot of things that I do as just a professional that I don't necessarily do specifically for myself. This is not me trying to sound self-aggrandizing or that I'm doing this for a fucking greater cause or anything like that. Can I curse on this program? I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, you can. Go yeah.
Oh, fantastic! Thank God. Okay, very good. I'm not doing it for any like self-aggrandizing, like, or ass kissing or anything of that nature for myself. It's more so that when I am dead and gone and I've retired to a farm somewhere in Wisconsin and I no longer lace up these shitty ass wrestling shoes, I can allow the other queer black talent to take my place, and it'll be just a little bit easier for them. So a thing like a GCW or a Big Gay Brunch or something is something that, while it feels great for me and it's a fantastic moment for me and it does level me up in that sense of my career, I am more so just like, God, I hope that the next person who does this is way better than me and I never have to do this again.
I hear that. You're just really, so basically how I see you is like a trailblazer for the community. Most definitely everything that you're doing to make the upcoming stars, to make it easier for them, and it's a great thing that you're doing, whether it be names like Sunny Kiss or names like Storm Garcon, stars like that. It's great to be able to have somebody like you to be like, hey, this is the one who is really trying to focus on this one mission, this one journey, and somebody behind you can come and continue that path, have an easier path in that. If this is the profession they choose to do, I really respect that and appreciate that for sure. Voice man, I know you're doing a little research on Noah. I'm going to go ahead and give you an opportunity here. Got any questions here for Noah Vale?
I do. And first, I would love to say, man, I admire what you're doing. I can understand where you're coming from, where you're saying, you want the next person's path after you to be a little easier, a little more, hey, I got you. Don't worry.
Exactly.
I like that. My question to you, though, my big question, after going through all of these things I'm seeing, I mean, first off, the one name that you have come up with, I absolutely love, the Sexy Shoguns tag team. Oh my God, dude. Let me tell you something. That is genius level thinking when you come up with something like that. I love it. It's absolutely awesome that you did that. And
I need you to understand that that is the most terrifying thing a human being's ever said to me, because that was a one-time tag team between me and my friend Leroy Shogun in the middle of nowhere in North Florida, on the border between Florida and Alabama, that no one on this planet should have ever seen or known about. And that is, wow, okay, whew, this is what Nardwar makes people feel like. That's, yeah. Oh my God. Deep cut. Deep cut.
I'm a voice for the people out there who are nerds about wrestling. So I love it because that introduced me into this other match, a triple threat that you had that involved your tag team partner in there. And is his name Iki?
Iki of the Thousand Fangs. So yeah. I'll allow you to get to your question. The triple threat at Mayhem and Mills, I know exactly what you're referring to. A big thing with me as an entity, beyond just blazing a trail for queer talent, I want to get people's eyes back on the Florida wrestling scene overall. So I want to say thank you for finding out about more Florida talent besides just me. Leroy Shogun and Iki of the Thousand Fangs are two of the best Florida wrestlers that I have had the privilege of ever being in the ring with. Specifically, two people that I think I wouldn't be able to be in the position that I am now, because there were many nights where we would just be in the dojo until 2 a.m, beating the dog shit out of each other, taking moves we absolutely shouldn't be. And I'm sure that I've lost at least 5 years of my life because Iki has given me multiple concussions.
Oh, we got Jay in the chat there.
Yeah,
Of course Jay gonna talk some mess. Of course Jay's gonna talk a little mess.
He's talking a little craziness towards you there.
That's my best friend. It's okay.
Yeah,
they can talk crazy. But back to your question, Voice. I'm so sorry.
Oh no worries, man. So my question to you is, okay, so you've had a pretty decent career so far with the years and everything. So I would like to know the Noah of the first wrestling match you ever had to the Noah today. Who are you, and how have you grown personally? I understand where you're coming from with the community and all that, but I want to know personally, where does Noah see himself today?
I think Noah as, I think the big thing between the two that is the big difference is confidence. I think that as a person, as a professional, as an athlete, I think all of these things really boil down to the difference being confidence. As a 19-year-old who just graduated with very little in terms of direction in life, very little in terms of goals, and a very, let's say, rocky relationship with their sense of self, their self-esteem, and just who they are as a person overall. I think the journey has been one of self-discovery and self-confidence. A big thing, I suppose, that I'm always sort of commented on by people when they watch me perform is they pick up on that sense of confidence, that sense of that sense of not really being afraid of who I am as a person. And it's something that was hard to develop. It was something that was difficult to develop, and it was something that I had to make a lot of leaps and hurdles, not just as a professional wrestler, but as just a person, making mistakes, falling on my face, doing the things that shitty 20-year-olds do when they're trying to figure themselves out. And coming out on the other side of that with a fully developed frontal lobe is a fantastic thing. That thing kicked in like fucking Doctor Strange getting force pushed out of his body. It was transcendent. But that, I think, is the big difference between the two of them. Year one Noah was just a very unconfident person, very unsure of themselves, and very unfamiliar with who they are as a person. And I think as I've grown, there have been a lot of changes and been a lot of growth and a lot of self-discovery. And I don't know. I think that they wouldn't necessarily recognize each other, but they would see enough. They would see themselves in each other if they stood face to face across from each other.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And I think year one you would look at you today with admiration and pride, and I just think you're doing everything that you need to do for yourself personally and for the path you're trying to create. You're doing a hell of a job out there. And, you know, if I could stand up and knock a bunch of things down and hit a green screen, I would applaud you, because fantastic work. Your chance that's coming up here in Indianapolis to be a part of the Royal Rumble weekend, to me, that just shows the community loves you and that you are over, man. Like, you're over. You're over.
Yeah.
I have a, so that bit, I have a lot of bits when it comes to professional wrestling. I am a very, I don't necessarily think of myself as a brand or anything of that nature, but I like to come up with little witty sayings and just stupid shit to tickle myself and to tickle my friends. The no avail isn't over thing. It confuses a lot of people. The ones that get it, and I'm very happy for them. And this is the only time I'm ever going to explain this. The no avail isn't over bit is twofold. One, I don't have to say it. I shouldn't be the one to tell people that I'm over. That is your job, not mine.
Yeah.
Secondly, and this is a personal thing for me, it's a double entendre in a lot of ways. Me saying that I'm not over isn't simply just me trying to get people to, praise me and tell me that I'm the greatest wrestler ever. It's also a legitimate feeling that I have with myself, because I am someone who is chronically unsatisfied. I am the eternally thirsty human being. And for me, I don't think that I'm over, because over for me is I leave my house, I go to the McDonald's, and I am mobbed by human beings. Over for me is Stone Cold. Over for me is John Cena. Over for me is I can't walk through the airport. And as I've furthered in my career, these things are happening a little bit more often than they did before, but we still haven't reached that level yet. And for me, I don't feel comfortable saying, oh, I'm this or I'm that. Tons of people will say, oh, I'm over. Oh, I'm super popular, or I'm an internet darling, or all these different things, when the reality of the situation is that's not real rap. You're saying that for yourself. You're trying to convince people of that. I'm not trying to convince people of anything, because my standards are so high. And maybe I never hit those standards, and maybe I never get to that place necessarily, but I'm going to do everything in my power to try. And I'm going to do everything in my power until I have gotten and reached that point. And if I don't and I fail, well, I can look back at the trail and say, we didn't do too bad. You know what I mean? So for me, saying no avail isn't over. It's great that you believe that. It's great that a lot of people believe that. But I can't believe it, because the moment I do is the moment that I stop and I start sucking.
No, I mean, I love the levels you have on that. Yeah. And, as a podcaster, I'm going to be that Gatorade to quench that little bit of thirst and just tell you, I think you're over. I understand where you're coming from. And I fucking even love it even more, because there's so many, you're like a goddamn video game. And there's so many levels to complete, and I just love it. And you know what? Thank you for what you do, your time that you're giving us here, most importantly. But
not a problem at all.
In a ring, man. It's a fantastic to sit here and talk to somebody who thinks on all these levels inside this entertainment that I love.
Not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. Wrestling is a lot of things. Wrestling isn't wrestling. Wrestling is it's theater. Wrestling is Greek myth. Wrestling is combat sport. Wrestling is anime. It's a lot of different things, and I don't know. I like to try to create the things that I would have been interested in when I was younger. I just want to be fucking Adam Cole, man. I want to be the Young Bucks. I want that. I miss the traveling independent wrestling superstar who could pop up anywhere, and you immediately were like, oh, they don't like this person and the lore, man. I miss the lore.
Yeah, for sure. Most
I got
definitely.
it.
No, I think, and you know what? I'm listening to everything that you are saying, Noah, and honestly, I love it as well, myself, especially with everything about what you said there about how you're not over until you can't walk through an airport, you can't go to a public spot without people noticing you, and you know, you want to be that Stone Cold, that John Cena, and I really like that. It just really pivots well into my next question here. What are your goals for yourself? If we can kind of expand on that a little bit, what is going to make No Avail feel over? Is it being the traveling indie sensation that everybody loves to see? Would it be featured on AEW? Would it be featured on NXT, WWE? What are your goals for yourself that you have? What would make No Avail feel over?
So, I say this very often, and it continuously upsets most of the veterans and people who would like to see me on those bigger platforms. A TV contract has never been my goal necessarily.
Okay.
I've never been somebody who particularly finds themselves thinking that being a television wrestler wasn't why I got into it. To explain this, I have to explain I got into professional wrestling specifically through the indies.
Yeah.
At first, it was falling back into it around my sophomore year of high school, learning about the Nexus, getting really into PJ Black, which honestly should have told me I was having a queer awakening at that point, but we're not going to think about that right now. I got really into PJ Black in the 450, and then I started looking into where a lot of those Nexus guys came from, because the theme song was fucking sick. And after that, I started finding out about the Indies and Ring of Honor because of Danielson. And from Ring of Honor, I found out about your Jay Lethers, your Adam Coles, your Tommaso Ciampas, your Silases, your Romantic Touches, etc., etc. And from that, that is really where the catapult and the rocket shot my ass up to the moon, because I was so fascinated by the ecosystem of independent wrestling at the time.
Yeah.
My goats were like Alex Shelley, TJP, Finn Balor, before he was, Prince Depp, you know what I mean? So like, it was deep in the trenches, you know what I'm saying? Big Chris Sabin mark when he was hitting motherfuckers with a running power, but like I was locked in. And so for me, that was where my pinnacle was, right? I always tell people the places that I wanted to wrestle don't necessarily exist anymore, because I wanted to be, PWG world champion. I want to hold the Ring of Honor World Championship. You know what I mean? Like it was, those were to me the qualifiers of the best wrestler in the world. So I say all that to answer your question. For me, I think No Avail is convinced that No Avail is over when No Avail reaches a level comparable to the greats. I don't think that I will ever reach that level, because, when you idolize somebody, it almost becomes like a mythic sort of thing, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
The human accomplishment sort of fades away, and then they become this larger than life sort of Greek sort of mythological figure, godlike entity type shit. But for me, that's what I want. I think that being over for me is reaching that same pinnacle of like a Kenny or a Young Bucks or a Steen, a Generico, an Adam Cole, where I can show up. You can book one of my friends, and maybe we've had this long-standing feud in another part of the country for 5 years. You book me on the other side of the coast, and people are expecting that continuation of the next part of the story. Or maybe we, have these interconnecting weaves going through. I don't simply want to be somebody that exists in one solitary area of independent professional wrestling. I want the whole fucking pie, because I'm greedy. I want to be someone that has the capacity to mold and bend and shape it, which, cheap plug, is why I think for me the Effie match is so important in that sense, because Effie is a fantastic talent, one of the best professional wrestlers in the world, the GCW World Heavyweight Champion. Effie is, in a lot of ways, to a lot of people, the current king of the independents. Before, it was your Colt Cabanas, it was your Kenny Omegas, it was your Young Bucks. Now, it is Effie. Now, it is the GCW World Heavyweight Champion. Now, I have the opportunity to wrestle for the GCW World Heavyweight Championship. But I don't give a shit as much about that title. The accolades don't matter. I want to see if that motherfucker really has that dander up. I want to see if he's still got gas in the tank. I want to know if there's tread on the tires. I want to know if you have what it takes to stand where my legends did, because I was born of those legends. I studied those legends. I'm the greatest of my generation. I am the middle child. I've studied the greats, and I am mentoring the youth, and I'm right there. And there is so few people who are willing to just rattle the throne a little bit. But you need that. You need that to be great. You need that to continue to push forward. And I feel like sometimes we can get complacent, and that's where No Avail comes in. No Avail is a killer of complacency. And if we go into this match, and if Effie is feeling that complacency now that he has reached the pinnacle, and now he no longer has to worry about old Mansa, baby. He no longer has to worry about all of his friends betraying him because they've all gone by the wayside. But now he has to worry about a bunch of young guns, and half of them aren't worth a shit. And the other half of them aren't going to do the work to get to that point. But he's got to worry about No Avail, because it just takes 5 pounds of pressure to knock a motherfucker on his ass and pin him for 3 seconds.
Man, that is going to be heavy business. That's a big match coming through this weekend. Effie No Avail GCW World Heavyweight Championship. Man, I am loving it. It's a big weekend, y'all. Big weekend coming down here in the heart of Indy. And this is for the Heart of Indy Wrestling Docuseries. We are sitting in with No Avail. And Noah, it has been a great conversation, a great opportunity to pick your brain and really just hear the passion coming off you for this upcoming bout here. Royal Rumble weekend. It's going to be exciting. Saturday morning slammers. That's presented by MWT. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be big. Before we slide out of here, take this break here, I'm going to give my man, the voice, Josh Joseph, one more opportunity to ask a final question and give your final thoughts to Noah Vale.
All right, Noah. So I believe it was 3 weeks ago you had a match, the Tri-State Championship.
Yes, against One Finesse.
Yes, One Finesse. So let me ask you, how was that? Because from my point of view, I didn't get to see it live, but I'm watching it. I've been watching it on YouTube this afternoon, and the energy you guys have in this match. First off, fantastic. It is top level. The coming out from the back was fantastic. The crowd was eating it up, but it seemed like you two hit a level to where it's like what you talked about, where you have this feud with somebody, a friend of yours, and you show up and you're being, may I say, fluid in the promotion world. You're not just pinned to one area. Has this been a continued feud, or like, did you guys just find a groove with each other?
So the first thing I will say is Finesse is not my friend. Finesse is a bastard. Finesse is the scum beneath my boot. Finesse, on his best day, couldn't lace my boots if I gave him a first grader's guide on how to tie his shoes. Dang. I will say that Finesse is a very capable professional wrestler. Finesse is a very good professional wrestler. However, Finesse is not No Avail, and Finesse is not a great professional wrestler.
True.
To describe my and Finesse's, let's call it a gentle person's quarrel, I think in professional wrestling, specifically in queer spaces, we forget that solidarity is fantastic. Loving one another in community is fantastic. But I think that we also discount the fact that sometimes you can just hate a motherfucker. And sometimes you can look at somebody and you can see in their eyes that they think that they're better than you. And while, yes, our gender identities, our sexualities unite us, I don't like people thinking that they're better than me. I don't like people thinking that in any capacity they're better than me in anything whatsoever. So when it comes to Finesse, I don't necessarily think of it as a feud that transcends. I think of it simply as two professional wrestlers being in the same place at the same time who think that they're better than one another and doing everything that it takes to prove it. For a lot of people, I am a litmus test. I am the final exam of professional wrestling in certain spaces. When you go to the South and you say No Avail's name in queer spaces or POC spaces or just wrestling spaces at all, they shudder like the boogeyman has just been spoken about, like a chill goes up their spine, like they're checking under their beds for me. You know what I mean? Because there is a certain level of expectation when your name is on a card next to No Avail. And if you are so, let's say, inclined to enjoy the type of entertainment that I'm willing to give people in the ring, the energy, the violence, the level of professional attention to detail, you can thank me specifically for that in bringing it out of the people that I wrestle. And it's there in a lot of them. It's there in Finesse. It's there in the Secrets. It's there in the Soraya Sabres. It's there in the Storms. It's there in the Edward Dravens. It's there in the Vogans. It's there in these professionals, but oftentimes, due to certain circumstances, they're not allowed to showcase that. And that's where No Avail comes in, because No Avail is a hate-filled individual who simply just wants to remind people that it's okay to beat the shit out of each other sometimes, because this is professional wrestling, and that's what we're here for. But my final thing before we finish off everything, and I know I've taken too much of your time, we have to talk about Saturday night's main event, which I was just watching while we were having this. If you saw me looking off to the side, it was because Gunther was beating the dog shit out of Jey Uso.
Oh.
I would simply like to give my eternal thanks to Midwestern Territory. I would simply like to give my thanks to the people who have believed in me more than anyone. And of course, obviously, we spent the entirety of the last podcast giving J Rose their flowers, and obviously they deserve it, but there's so many people that are involved in this. First and foremost, I would like to thank Chase Holiday, who has been a very important aspect of my professional wrestling development, and one of the first people to tell me, hey man, get out of your fucking head, wrestle the way you want to wrestle, and beat the hell out of these boys. I would like to thank my best friend, Jay, for being such a sweet and kind and caring individual and never, ever being mean to me ever in my entire life. I would like to thank... I would like to thank Cole Radrick. I would like to thank Lobo for beating the hell out of Cole Radrick. And then I would like to thank Cam Adams, the Suge Knight of professional wrestling, the Medici family, the silent partner in the background, because, as I've said many a time, your favorite professional wrestlers would fucking suck if it was not for this man. And I do not think he ever gets his flowers as he deserves them. I do not think that any of these people get the flowers that they deserve. Carrie Awful, the Carnies. I think so many times we forget that there are so many people involved in things like this. For every promoter that is a part of the Combat Crossroads, for the Dariuses, for the MVs, for the WWA4 and AR Fox, for Fight and Kaz and Dino, for all these people who have come together to form something that is so beautiful and so great for the city of Indianapolis, a city that has built so many great professional wrestlers. I would like to thank all of you for this, and I hope everything goes great. It probably won't, because professional wrestling is known for never working, because we're just a bunch of weird kids who ran away with the circus. But you know what? At least you got your flowers on this random Sunday morning with no avail.
Hey, there you go. That's what it's all about, is getting the flowers from no avail. And we appreciate your time, because we know how valuable it is. My final thoughts are here before we let you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. We really appreciate your time. I can see it. I mean, having an opportunity to speak to you and pick your brain has just been an absolute joy. And it was better than even what I thought it was going to be, because I loved learning so much about who you are and what you're all about. The fact that a lot of these wrestlers, they want to go to TV, they want to get on the WWEs and whatnot, but you represent a different style, a different opportunity, where it's like, you see guys like Pentagon, who's like now finally making it to WWE, but he's a guy who's been to all those places and been across all those platforms. And then you got guys that's going backwards, like Baron Corbin, and he's just now getting a chance to do GCW. He's like, oh, I want to go to Japan. I want to do this. I want to do that. Blah, blah, blah. So for you to have the foresight to be on the head of what is that, because you named a lot of the people that you named are people that I watched, like Jay Lethal, the House of Truth, and everything that they did during his time. It was great stuff. Dijak, Dominic Dijakovic, and everything that was going on that he was doing in that time with Ring of Honor. Amazing things. Former In Your House guest, by the way. And just all those names that you named. And I'm like, you know what? This is a new time right here, a new era where a lot of the wrestlers are like, oh, well, my end game is WWE. I want a main event WrestleMania. I want to do that. The easy, and not easy. I'm not saying that it's easy, but I'm saying that's what people, that's the first thought that they have when they get into wrestling. But in this new generation, I love that it's like, no, I want to be world renowned. I want to be self-made. I want to be somebody who, I don't need somebody to call my shots for me. It's being so undeniable across every spectrum, like Cam Adams saying here, across every spectrum, that a place like AEW or a place like WWE has to call you. They have to come.
Absolutely not. When TV guys stopped coming to the Indies to wrestle No Avail and telling me that this is the first time they've had fun in a very long period of time, No Avail will retire.
Well, I could see it happening because No Avail, you are the life of the party. You are the person right now to go and check out. Fans, I mean, do you have any merch out there, Noah, that's on any
Absolutely, I do. If you would like to follow No Avail, you can find me on Instagram at NoahVale97. You can find me on Twitter, the only thing that I will ever dead name, at NoahXVale. You can find me on my merch store at noahvale.shop. That is noahvale.shop, NoahVeil.shop. All my other links will be in like a link tree in my bio or whatever. I know everybody hears link in bio and they automatically assume, but I'm a woman of God. I have not dipped into the world of sin. So you'll get merch links, you'll get social media, you'll get all of those things. I think that's the only thing that I can plug. Sunday, Combat Crossroads, I'm wrestling the Infantry, Chase Holiday, the Monarchs of Muscle or Monarchs of Mass, I don't remember. Rachel Armstrong and MKZ as the Night City Machine Guns for our Naptown All Pro Tag Team Championships, because TV guys cannot stay away from No Avail.
I love it, man. I love it. Like, listen, I really appreciate your time here, everything. I love the personality. I know I'm going to see you this upcoming weekend because I'm going to be out there in the mix and doing more for this docuseries. I'm really excited because I'm going to be outside all weekend. I mean, I'm going to be outside pretty much all weekend and around. And like I said, I love the fact that we can do this right here. We have the opportunity to do this right here. We can talk virtually and everything, but I'm just excited to get out there and actually, get a chance to get in person with you guys. And I love those interviews even more. Those are all going to be available on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, YouTube, anywhere. It's just like this one right here. But listen, I just want to thank you for your time. It's been amazing. And I cannot wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. Now, I've talked for too long. Let's give these people a break before we get into the Saturday night's main event talk.
Most definitely. So we're going to take a break, pay a few bills, and then when we come back, Saturday night main event, Royal Rumble is coming up as well. We're going to talk about all of that. And of course, that's on the other side of this break. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
Hello everyone, it's the Pope Elijah Burke, founder and president of the Love Alive charity. I wanted to take this brief moment to share with you my charity's continued humanitarian efforts to positively impact the impoverished communities in and around the greater Jacksonville area. This cannot be possible without your support. If you'd be so kind, please take a moment to visit our website, love-alive.org, to learn more about the charity and its mission. Also, feel free to donate to our 501c3 organization that operates off of the donation of the public, which is you. Whether that be by website or via Cash App, $1 help makes a difference in the lives of others as we continue to positively influence many people by being the change that we wish to see in the world.
So, yo, how you what? Mr. Lizbeth, I would call you Hunter, but I don't really know you that well. Mr. Khan, both of y'all, both companies. I just really want to say thank you. Now, don't click off this video. I'm still an independent warrior. I know the glazing is crazy, but we gotta call it like how it is. Those gentlemen have done an absolutely tremendous job showing the world that Indianapolis is a wrestling town. And I really do appreciate that. But I gotta keep it real with you, man. I gotta do what's best for us here, all over Central Indiana. I gotta put on for everybody from Castleton to Southport, Post Road to Hallville. These are the people that I'm worried about, real Indianapolis. And I don't want to exclude you. To you and anybody else who wants to come see real Indianapolis, real independent wrestling, come rock with us. Open invitation. We got this nice little place over here at the Fountain Square Theater, just down the road from the House to Paint building. From Thursday, January 30th, to Sunday, February 2nd. From the middle of the week, from the middle of the map, right there in the middle of the ring. Just know, our foot's gonna be in the middle of your ass. Much love, your friends at Naptown All Pro.
Hey guys, welcome back to In Your House. And yeah, you guys saw it there. We just had our great guest, Noah Vale, and Noah Vale will be here this upcoming weekend for the massive Royal Rumble. I'm so excited. It's going to be amazing. But Voice, I got to tell you, bro, with everything that's going on this coming weekend, I think one of the biggest things, because this is my first Rumble. Royal Rumble is my favorite pay-per-view. It's going down on my birthday, and we're definitely going to talk about that. But one big thing that's really like just got me like that loving it, like the sense of community in Indy that everything is being built around, man. Like I'm loving the love for Indy right now, bro.
Yeah, me too. It's absolutely fantastic. Definitely a moment where we can say we're proud of where we come from.
Yes.
Exactly with what Jay Rose is doing personally. The fact Jay Rose and everybody he's associated with and everybody that we've talked to that has even just a fingerprint on this event is fantastic. Everybody can see the love that we have for what we do. And this is our golden era for podcasting in this specific niche group in the internet. Grun, I know you're more mainstream wrestling, WWE, all that. I get that. And I've been there. But let me tell you about an indie show. An indie show will take your testicles and jerk them around. And then they'll say, I'm going to slap you in the face with this. And then at the end of it, you get to meet those people and they tell you how much they enjoyed that you were hyped for them. You get to interact with them. It's not like a WWE show. You get to actually be a part of these people's progress and where they go. And I just absolutely love an indie show and I can't wait. I cannot wait for this weekend. It's going to be fantastic. Howse is turning the big 3-8.
3-8, brother.
3'8"? Man, you're
Yep.
so young. So young.
I don't feel it, man. I don't feel it. But I got to tell you, man, it's going to be massive. It's going to be a huge weekend, and I love it. And we're going to talk more about it a little bit later on in the episode because right now we got to talk about what happened. Thank you, Lou. Appreciate you, bro. Much appreciation. We got to talk about what happened last night, Saturday night main event. And I got to be honest, I got a chance. Actually, if I'm going to be honest, I fell asleep during the show, but not because it was a boring show. It was because I was tired. I have said that on the show before. If I fall asleep during the show 9 out of 10 times, especially in this pace of WWE, it's because I was tired. But I watched the rest of it this morning, and I got to tell you, man, it was a pretty damn solid show. I don't think anybody expected any, like, if you were expecting anything major to happen, you were just kidding yourselves, bro. Like, you're absolutely freaking kidding yourselves, bro, because this is a week before the Royal Rumble. I just don't think they're pulling any major triggers like that with the Royal Rumble next week. It's going to be a massive show, one of the biggest Royal Rumbles in years. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about being in the building right now for what's going to be a massive Royal Rumble. I'm excited, bro. I am excited. But Saturday night main event pushed along some good stories. Grun, I got to ask you, man, what were some highlights from Saturday night main event for you, the blue-eyed villain, Grunmeister?
You know what? I got to say that the biggest highlight for me was another banger from Sheamus and Braun Breaker. Now, their match was fantastic. It was everything you expected from them and more. And even Braun Breaker did not come out looking like he dominated Sheamus, but he came out looking like he went to war and won against a guy who just loves throwing fists and doing whatever the hell it takes to win. And that's my highlight. And Braun Breaker, like, I can see him holding the title to WrestleMania, maybe losing it at Mania, maybe. Because, like, I don't think he needs to win at Mania, but I think he should definitely hold the title at least until Mania.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I do. I think they're building. Listen, I think they're building a story because they keep bringing up how the Intercontinental Championship is the missing piece for Sheamus, and you have Jesse the Body Ventura, which was he was great on the mic again, and what I do like about Jesse that he does is that he's not just there to be like, oh, I'm Jesse the Body Ventura, I'm the celebrity guy. He actually tries to make points and drive things home on commentary. And I think I really appreciate that because he made it a point to say that if he wins the Intercontinental Championship, he's a surefire Hall of Famer. And I just don't think you say stuff like that without it like planting a seed for a story. And I think that's the story there, is that Sheamus will eventually touch that Intercontinental Championship. Maybe they take that opportunity to cool off the feud right now and then rekindle a little bit closer to WrestleMania time.
Yeah,
I think so.
That makes a lot of sense. And to bring more onto what you're talking about with Jesse Ventura, I think it brings back that old school element of Saturday Night Main Event, having him do those things and basically pick up where he left off. When he was
that's
doing
what it feels
those
like.
things, you know, it doesn't feel like, I mean, besides his voice getting maybe a little deeper and he's older, he's loose. I mean, it feels like Jesse Ventura, an elderly one, but I enjoy it. I think he's doing fantastic. I was really super stoked that he's going, it seems like, to be a permanent fixture for these events.
I love it, man. I absolutely love it. So, Voice Man, we talked a little bit before the show, and we were talking about how it's this Saturday Night Main Event didn't move the wheels like that and whatnot, and it's okay. But moments did come of it, and one moment is somebody who I'm having a conversation right now if this is my current favorite wrestler in WWE, and that's Jacob Fatu, man. And I say that, I say, like, listen, man, I don't just say, like, I'm really particular when I say, hey, man, you're my favorite wrestler right now. Because first off, it changes a lot. My favorite wrestler changes based on the moments, you know. But for me to come out and make that statement publicly, yeah, that's how I feel. And the reason why is because Jacob Fatu is exciting to watch in the ring. His facial expressions are on point. The way they tie in his backstory is on point. His promos, that anytime he gets a chance to talk on the mic, it's on point. He's explosive. I mean, and he's just, you can feel it, bro. You can feel it with everything that he's doing, that he's building his way through the crowd, that he's building his way through the card strong. And God, this guy is on another freaking level, voice.
Yeah, you are hitting every single point, and it is Jacob Fatu and what he is doing in a ring today. You know what? As you were saying that, in my head, it just came up. He's like Noah. He's one of them who just gets it. They understand who they are and what they bring to a promotion. And Jacob has hit that gear. He has become to where we need to be like, Jacob, I love you. Because I do. You're doing everything that I need you to do. Yeah. And you're doing it at such a pace that really, honestly, if I was solo, I would be going to a hotel room every night after a show and, I don't know, maybe crying a little bit because Jacob is being what I assume that they thought solo was going to become. Yeah. There's a real weird thing with Jacob. And with Jacob, I was joking a lot in the chat where I said Cole was, putting Jacob's business out there because he brought up his arrest. He brought up all that stuff. But you have to think about that. Yes, does Jacob have a extra leg up in the family that he's born? Most definitely. Not his fault. He can't control that. But what he can control is not going back to where he was. And that is his driving force. And I think that if you don't have that, if you don't have something right there that says, hey, it's either this or that, there's a connection that doesn't happen with you and the crowd. And Jacob has that. So there's a connection that happens because he makes you feel like he's the everyday badass. Like, we all know what the Wolverine can do. What he's the Samoan, just he's a war machine. He really is a war machine in himself. But what he did on Saturday Night Main Event set him apart from everybody in that family. It gave me Rikishi mixed with Umaga dreams. Yeah, is Jacob Fatu. And just because Rikishi had the fans in the palm of his hand and Umaga had the fans fearing the hell out of him. And
it's a mixture of both, dude. It really is. Exactly.
And that's Jacob Fatu. And what he did to Braun Strowman. Oh my God.
I mean, that man was leaking, bro. Like, you know what, bro? You know what? I liked it so much. And there's people out there that's comparing it to what Bronson Reed did to Seth Rollins. And I get that. I totally get where you'd say that. But listen, it was a formula that worked for Bronson Reed. And that's what elevated Bronson Reed. So, like, yes, while it was similar and you got guys like P, and he knows his stuff, but he's saying like, oh, it wasn't as impactful because it was a top guy that Bronson did it to. But listen, man, I'll argue this. I mean, 6'8", big giant, one big SOB, and he just tore him apart. Ripped him apart. And yes, it was competitive for a little bit, and I'm glad that it was, because like Braun Strowman doesn't need to, because there was people out there that were saying, oh, he needs to just get like squashed or whatever. I'm like, nah, I like how they did this. And the reason why is because, yes, while Braun Strowman did pick up the victory, he definitely didn't look like a winner coming out of it. And it also shows that Jacob Fatu is unhinged. That dude's crazy. He's out his mind. He don't care about wins and losses. He just cares about hurting people. And I think that's what really set this apart. I'm really appreciating the build of Jacob Fatu right now.
Me too. And let me ask us a question.
Sure.
Okay, so I get that there's a comparison, and yes, some people are saying, Braun Strowman's not one of the top guys. Yes, for the title, he's not one of the top guys, but when you go into a WWE fan base, just go back to SmackDown. When Braun Strowman came out during Jacobs and Tonga's moment, the crowd was all behind Braun Strowman and cheering him on. And he was even pointing it out to Jacob. And for it to turn 24 hours later to where the crowd is like demanding that he does more to him, that right there is the impactful moment. There's the turn. There's the universe going, nope, we're going a different direction.
Yeah, Listen, I am enjoying it, man. I'm enjoying. You got the Lou saying showing power over a bigger man is a big statement. They're doing it right. I gotta agree with you there, Lou. Most definitely. I love what's going on with that. I mean, I can honestly sit up here and gush about Jacob Fatu for at least another 20 minutes. So I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it to Grun, man. What's your thoughts on everything going on and the build with Jacob Fatu?
So the build with Jacob Fatu is definitely, they are being very calculated with how they push him, and they're definitely pushing towards his literal strength, his literal dominance in the ring. And I think once we see him have to fight someone, like go a full match with like Roman Reigns, a full match with Cody Rhodes, a full match with Chad Gable, with Penta, we are going to see that Jacob Fatu has a lot more tricks in his bag than just big powerhouse moves. Jacob Fatu has shown that he can cut a promo very well.
Oh yeah.
What I'm curious about is what happens when we find out that he's not this wild animal we've all been led to believe. What happens when we find out that he's the one who's more calculated? He's the one who's got plans upon plans upon plans.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too.
I really love it. It just really unlocks a whole other avenue that you can take with Jacob Fatu. I'm telling you, man, this guy's got it. He has got it. Man, anytime he's speaking, I'm telling you, I base things purely on if you can keep my attention. Can you get me off my phone? Can you make me look at you? And I got to tell you with sincerity, anytime he's involved in anything and he gets some mic time or he's about to do something, I'm fully invested, dude. I'm fully invested. And that has to speak for something. You know what I'm saying? Like Bray Wyatt is somebody that when he came on TV, especially with the Firefly Funhouse and everything, I was off my phone paying attention, fully invested. That's another one right there. You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid, The Rock, when he was speaking on the mic, I was fully invested. I was listening to every word he was saying. So for me to say that is for me to say this. When you can get me to be like, what's this guy about to say next? Because he's so raw, so real with his promos. And it's just I love it, man, because I believe him. I believe the things that he's saying. And it's really just been a treat to see the development of somebody like a Jacob Fatu, because he's not somebody, I mean, his family is affiliated. Don't get me wrong. He's affiliated with the Fatu family and NOI, and they're well connected. But this is a guy who did his time in the Indies, and he worked and he really grinded on the Indies and to come to where he's at now. So there's a lot of natural love for Jacob Fatu. Whether there's controversy surrounding him or not, I think that the love is always going to be more for Jacob Fatu, because I think people see his intent, they see who he is. I think you could see a whole lot of interviews with him. He's a pretty jovial, cool guy when you get a chance to get him in a space where he's talking, and yeah, man, like a lot of people like this guy. So like I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying what is happening with it. And it's just been a cool ride for Jacob Fatu, man.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. He just gets it. He gets his 5 minutes and he knows what to do with it. I talk about it all the time, and Jacob understands that. Just like our guest we just had on, Noah No avail gets it. You got 5 minutes to make us entertained. And like Howse says, if you can get me off my phone from researching another wrestler or checking out highlights from something that happened at another promotion, you got a fan. You got.
Yeah.
I've already been researching what shirts to buy. Because I was like, hey, if I'm going, I might as well get a Jacob Fatu shirt.
Same here. I did the exact same thing. I promise.
I was like, man, I gotta find that Wolverine shirt that red one he had Saturday night was.
It's
pretty
disgusting, bro. Yes, I love it.
This is going to be
great.
a spectacular Rumble. Everything leading up to it, with what we're involved in, with what WWE's putting out, with what anybody who even loves wrestling is about to experience. You're absolutely in the prime of wrestling. I mean, we have villain Kevin Owens. We have the heel of heels. He's walking up to children who want his autograph, holding the pen, and he's throwing it when he gets the pen. You gotta love what's happening in wrestling today.
Yeah, most definitely. Kevin Owens, he's been great with all his shirts and everything. Let's go ahead and go right there, man, with the contract signing. That was fun. I enjoyed that. You had Shawn Michaels there in his hometown. He got a chance to have a little moment right there. That was cool. I didn't hate that at all. I enjoyed it, man. I enjoyed the whole promo. I like where they're going with Kevin Owens and his character. I thoroughly enjoy the Cody Sucks Eggs shirt. Like, everything right now that, for me, that Kevin Owens is doing right now, he's just a throwback. I mean, I enjoy that he's such a throwback with like the title, everything that he's doing that centers really around Saturday Night Main Event, to the Brett merch that he's wearing, to the American Dream shirts that he's manufacturing, calling himself the Canadian Dream. Yes. I'm enjoying it. This is a nice lane for Kevin Owens. It's a lane that Drew McIntyre kind of did last year, but then he's just more of a brutalizer. I think that what I appreciate about Kevin Owens is that he will just try to dig in your side as much as he possibly can. It really gives me those CM Punk type vibes or Rowdy Piper type vibes, where it's just like he's just that unhinged guy that's just gonna say whatever, and I appreciate that. I like the build that's going down with Kevin Owens. Grun, what do you think of the contract signing?
I gotta admit, I was a little bit disappointed, because when Nick Aldis said that there was an addendum added to the contract, I'm thinking in my head, oh, is he like saying the losers being sent to Raw, because I can't have you two on the same roster if you're both gonna act like this?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so no, so just an addendum. We won't find out what the addendum is, what the it's not even significant. So the word was pointless. Contract signing. I said this on my SmackDown review, and that is, this feud was white hot, and they had no good way of keeping it white hot. It is cooling off, and it is just going to be just hot enough for a good ladder match, but it's not going to be... I don't think it's going to feel like the bloodbath where they're trying to make it out to be. I don't think it's going to be... I don't think it's going to be Cody Rhodes' greatest title defense. It could be one of his best matches since coming back to WWE, but as far as title defenses, like, in story-wise, I just want the match over with.
So yeah, here's the thing. I will say this to your point. I think that after this match, the feud's got to end. I think I most definitely 110%, because okay, I'm gonna throw it out there right now. Does anybody here truly, realistically think that Kevin Owens is gonna beat Cody Rhodes at Royal Rumble. If you okay, nobody. All right, I'm just saying. All right, because if there was, we could talk about it. That's not. But if we're all in agreement that he's not going to do it, I think that the story here is that Cody Rhodes has to turn his attention to the Royal Rumble winner, because there's going to be a lot of guys that is most likely going to be coming after him.
Yeah.
Whether it be CM Punk, whether it be Roman Reigns trying to regain that opportunity, whether it be John Cena who's trying to chase his 17th championship. There's many names in there. And then, of course, you have your other guys there like Seth Rollins, who might try to turn his attention to Gunther, possibly. But hell, Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes would probably be fire too. Like this is a big. I just feel like that while to me, in my opinion, I've enjoyed the Cody Kevin feud just because I really thought it was going to end after Saturday Night Main Event in December, and they've kept it going, and it has had a lot of cool moments come out of it. I will say that, but I'll definitely say that if and when Kevin Owens loses and Cody Rhodes retains, you got to move on. You got to get past that for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I will say this, Grun, and I see exactly where you're coming from, because it is out there in your face. But I want to take you back to 2000. There was a Royal Rumble that happened, and there was a feud that was happening between Triple H and Cactus Jack.
Okay? Oh man.
So a lot of people were in your boat. We've seen this. It has been done. Why are you doing this? Why aren't they in the Royal Rumble? Continue with whatever you want. But they put on one of the best street fights that has ever been. Triple H got a skid that the nail went through his calf, and there was just blood leaking everywhere. It was chaos. But here's the thing. It reignited that feud, and it became white hot again because of the brutality that was in that match, because each one was able to push the other one to the next limit. That is exactly what we have going on here with the Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes story, especially at this Royal Rumble, especially with this type of match. They are going to be able to brutalize each other. Kevin Owens is going to make Cody Rhodes look like a wrestling god out there. And it's going to be spectacular because all the sights, all the things, all the falls, all the hits are going to be in one extraordinary match. It's going to be in Indianapolis. It's going to be spectacular. And there's a chance it could steal the show from the Rumble.
Listen, I don't think that's crazy to say that, in my opinion, just because I think the elements are there. I think they are there, most definitely. Cody Rhodes has proven that he'll get down and dirty. We've seen it before. And we know that Kevin Owens will get down and dirty. We've seen it before. I need these guys. I need Cody to tap into his match with his brother with AEW. Listen to me now. I need Kevin Owens to tap into Kevin Steen against El Generico in Ring of Honor. Hear me now. I need them to have a match like this to where they brutalize each other, to where exactly what Voice is saying, it reignites the feud. And if there's a story there, if there is a story there that can get them to possibly Elimination Chamber, that's a big thing. Now, what I think is going to happen, because we can harken back to Monday Night Raw, is that I think what is going to happen, honestly, and this is way down the line here, what I'm thinking, because they planted the seeds for it with Kevin Owens coming and confronting Sami Zayn on Raw on Netflix and saying, we have each other's backs. I know you'll do the right thing. I think something is going to happen. And I honestly think that Kevin Owens' road to WrestleMania, I think we're going to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn again, one-on-one against each other at WrestleMania.
Give it to me. You are not disappointing me with that scenario at all. Grun, I know you're probably in the same boat with me. We're both fans of both those guys and what they can give to a match.
Oh, I mean, like, there was a time I could not stand Sami Zayn because, well, I looked at him and I thought he was generic and there was nothing special about him. I get it, underdog from the underground, but even in those times, I couldn't deny that Sammy's best matches were against Kevin Owens, and that was not an insult. Like, they were great feuds, great matches. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, whether they're across the ring from each other or working together, they are always going to be something great to see on TV.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. It's that brotherhood that we hear so many people that we've interviewed talk about, and how when they get into those moments, they can just push each other. And it's like Sabu talked about it. You get into the ring with a friend, somebody you travel with, somebody you see every day. And Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens did that. They did that before they were getting the big checks, before they were buying the big houses, before they were treating their families the way they saw fit to be treated. That's a brotherhood. That's something that can only shine through on the grand stage, like Lou says here. That makes me excited for, if this goes that way, I'm excited for that match specifically.
Yeah, most definitely, man. I'm enjoying what's going on with Kevin Owens and the path that they've taken with his character. I guess we could just talk about it real quick. I mean, Rhea Ripley defeated Nia Jax at Saturday Night Main Event. I mean, we all saw that coming, right? Like, I'm not like disparaging the match. It just, for me, it's not one of the biggest things that popped out from last night. I wanted to say that it was done, but I just, I think that they just did it to have that big match, and now I think both women are going to pivot and do something else, to be honest with you. And they need to for sure. Gunther, Jey Uso, great match. Jay looked good coming out of it. Gunther genuinely looked like he'd been in a dogfight, so I could appreciate that. But I think that this just proves what we've said already here on this show. I think we all kind of agreed. I think we talked about it last week, that Jey Uso was going to lose this match and he was going to pivot towards the Royal Rumble. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think he's going to be in the Royal Rumble match, and a star-studded Royal Rumble match, by the way, going down in Indianapolis. And I love it. Right here in the beautiful city of Indy, I am going to thoroughly enjoy it with all of my people. It's going to be a great weekend. So yeah, we talked a little Saturday Night Main Event, and it was, like I said, good show. I enjoyed it, but we keep going back to the Royal Rumble, so I think we just need to go ahead and stay there. Let's go ahead and hit the household with some predictions here. We'll talk about the show and whatnot. A lot of looming excitement for this big show. We got Monday Night Raw that's going down, Raw on Netflix tomorrow. That will be preluded by Window Liquors here, presented by In Your House. Check that out. Also tomorrow, I will be going live in the afternoon tomorrow with Chase Holiday, part owner of Naptown All Pro. He's going to come on and talk about the event. That's going to be an amazing event. That's going to continue the Heart of Indy docuseries. And yeah, we're just going to continue, guys. But yes, this Royal Rumble, huge, massive. We still got, once again, Raw on Netflix. Then we got SmackDown and Indy, and then the big show. So I think we can we talked a lot about like Cody and KO, and I think we could just do that when we're all in agreement. Cody's going to retain, right?
Yeah. Cody retains.
Okay, cool. Right on. I just wanted to, if we didn't have to dig too, because we talked a lot about it already. So let's go ahead and talk about another thing that I really want to talk about, and that's this best 2 out of 3 falls tag team match, Motor City Machine Guns and DIY. Listen, bro, that's going to be a fucking banger. I'm so excited to see that one.
Yeah, I agree with you. When I was looking it up and I seen that, I just thought back a few months ago when I was saying DIY, I was over them. They needed to turn. I believe I forget who in the In Your House crew said it, but they needed a black heart Johnny, something like dark heart Johnny, something like that.
Yeah,
I remember that being said, and then we got it. We're getting that, and then now you're mixing that with the Motor City Machine Guns,
Oh my
and
God.
you're making it 2 out of 3 falls.
Yes.
And, like, come on, what else do you guys want to do? Do you want to throw joints out into the crowd? Because I'll enjoy it and I'll collect them all. And
Exactly.
they'll be
While
Pokemon
watching that match. That match.
Exactly. So you've just made young wrestling fan me super excited to be in witness of this, because honestly, I will say it, the Machine Guns they came out big, but then it was kind of like mellowed out, you know.
Yep.
And this is reigniting it. This is something that we love.
Yes.
I know all 3 of us in this love the amount of energy and talent that these guys bring, but then you put it in 2 out of 3 falls.
Oh my God.
That's just more wrestling for us.
Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, you're giving me on my birthday my favorite match stipulation, a ladder match at my favorite event, the Royal Rumble. Somebody who loves tag team wrestling, 2 of the best tag teams in the world, and a best 2 out of 3 falls match, and I get to watch 2 Royal Rumbles live in Lucas Oil Stadium. Are you fucking kidding me, bro? This
Howse is
every
gonna OD on his birthday.
Brother,
on
I'm gonna
wrestling.
be gone, bro. Like I'm telling you, man, the amount of fucking dopamine, bro, is going to be stupid. Like, it's gonna be a great night, man. So okay, all right. I need to calm down because I'm looking forward to it. I'm just so excited because it really means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really means a lot to me for this weekend to be here, and I'm just excited, man. I'm gonna be with some awesome people and awesome wrestling, and fuck, dude, it's gonna be great. I'm just excited. But this best 2 out of 3 falls match, man, I gotta ask, who do we got, bro? Who's gonna win this match? Grun, who do you think, bro?
So I'm thinking of who, and it's like, I really think either team could win this. Storyline wise, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to be a bigger deal? And I think I definitely think that DIY. I think now that we've gotten a good, nice, decent run with both Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa as a heel tag team, I think we can see them splitting up before the end of the year. It could be here at Royal Rumble. It could be right after WrestleMania. I'm gonna say Motor City Machine Guns regain the tag team titles here.
Okay.
And we end up heading towards a Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa one-on-one match at WrestleMania.
Ooh. Those 2 put on bangers, and
there is nobody that puts on a blood feud like Ciampa and Gargano.
Could you imagine? Oh my God! Could you imagine night 1 of WrestleMania? Your blood feud is Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, and then night 2 of WrestleMania, your blood feud is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Oh my God!
Yo,
that would actually be insane. I mean, look, it's Las Vegas. There's no way that they are not going to create the biggest money matches they can make, even if it's like just visually thinking about it. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, Owens versus Zayn. Maybe a rematch of Reigns versus Rhodes one more time. Like they are going to make this look like the biggest financially successful WrestleMania of all time.
I agree.
Yeah. And they're at the perfect spot to do it, like you're bringing up. I mean, and what we need with that Tommaso Ciampa and the Gargano story is we need Gargano to turn on Ciampa. That's what we need to kick it off.
Yeah, that needs to be because we've seen it the other way around.
Exactly.
But this needs it. This one, it needs to be Ciampa that is the one turned on.
Yeah, I think that is the perfect way to kick it off, because then you give that sympathy to Tomasa, and then you give that the heel feel right to Gargano. I really think that we are in an era where we're seeing, like you said, Howse, one night you have this blood feud, next night you have Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, which in kind of like a mirror image is seeing the younger doing what the older set the path through. Exactly what Noah Vale was talking about in his journey. Like this episode is a WWE show. We are pulling together all these things and connecting them inside our own story that we're giving you guys. And this is fantastic. I hope it happens, because that's what we need with these guys.
Yeah, most definitely. I agree. I agree with that. So Voice, who do you think, man? Who do you think is going to win this tag team match?
I'm going to say for Grun talked me into it, because I want exactly what he's talking about. Go ahead, give it to the Machine Guns. Let's see because these other tag teams that are coming up, I'm more excited to see the Machine Guns versus them in SmackDown than I am seeing DIY. I've already seen it with DIY. I've seen them go against some of the greats at SmackDown tag teams, and now I want to see the Machine Guns do it. And I want to see the Machine Guns do what the Machine Guns do best: give everybody a great show, and the people they go against, make them the stars. They become the stars of the match, and I love that with the Machine Guns.
Yeah, listen, man, I'm with you guys. Motor City Machine Guns. I really like the idea. There's just more story to be told leading up to WrestleMania, with them being the champions and DIY not being the champions. Everything that Grun just said, most definitely. But like, I think that we need to go into a situation where the Motor City Machine Guns are the standard of tag team wrestling going into WrestleMania. I think that they do. I do. I believe that they are going to win at Royal Rumble, and I think they're going to hold those titles going into WrestleMania. It just depends on what tag teams come up or what happens or anything that could happen between now and then. I mean, you could have some crazy shit happen, like the Hardys pull up in WWE or something. That's what we're fooling around with the merger with TNA. And
they are the TNA champs.
Exactly. They are most definitely the TNA champs, but I just think the right path is to go with the Motor City Machine Guns, let them be the standard of tag team wrestling leading up to WrestleMania. And you got some great teams that are starting to come up. Like, they're really doing good stuff with Los Garza. Could Los Garza actually get to that point where they become a standard in tag team wrestling? We got to see what happens with this reboot that they've been doing. I've been enjoying it, honestly. Could the Street Profits sneak back up and be that tag team that we know that they've been in the past and regain the tag team championships? We don't know what's going to happen. That Pretty Deadly is another team that you never know what's going to happen with them, and
they're pulling in some great stuff, man, on SmackDown right now. They're becoming the tag team I was gushing about months and months ago.
I'm telling you, bro, they're really doing good stuff with. Oh, wait a minute, bring that up. Listen, bro, I would totally be here. There'd be some. Listen, dog. Listen, Lou. Listen to me right now, bro. All right. If they do something like that with Motor City Machine Guns, and I'm not gonna be. I don't want to be crazy and say that the Hardys should be in that because of age, but I'll say this: if they do a triple threat TLC match for the tag team championships with the Street Profits, Los Garza, and Motor City Machine Guns, I think everybody in that match would really be made. I truly do.
I do too, but I think you're leaving a team out who has recently said that they want to do one more match, and they help make these TLC matches very popular. And Grun knows the Dudleys going in and giving us some TLC love with the machine guns. Come on.
Man.
I mean, they've specifically said they want one more match with the Hardys, but I think we can talk them into a or a fatal four-way. We'll say Hardys, Dudleys, these DIY Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh my God, that would be insane.
I think you could talk them into that because the Dudleys they did not let anyone kick out of the the 3D.
Yeah.
In their entire until one team came around. These tiny cruiserweight wrestlers from Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
That we know as Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin.
Oh man.
Lou, you are correct.
Take my money. Take my money.
Yes, man.
Yes.
Really, because that would be amazing. Hardys, Dudleys, DIY, and the Motor City Machine Guns. That's a great. Listen, I'm just saying. A lot of the stuff that we talk about on this show usually happens on the show, and I know we have had people in WWE listen to this show before. I'm not bragging, y'all. I'm really not. I'm just saying that if they do this, and this is we're basically building the WrestleMania card for them right now at this point.
Yeah, we did.
Like fuck, dude. The mid card is solid as shit right now. Like you got Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano one-on-one against each other, or they could be part of a fatal four-way ladder match, and then you have Sami Zayn going up against Kevin Owens on night 2 at WrestleMania. My God, insane. Bruzy, what is up, dude, man? We're not gonna hold you. I see you. Bring up that last comment. Bring up that last comment there.
Get your ass out of here.
It's gonna be that I'm looking forward to that one.
No, yeah, but no, in all seriousness, Bruzy, your commanders scare me. I'm terrified.
We have started a riot in the chat.
No, come on. I was playing around, but in all seriousness,
Lou is he's letting Hunter know he needs to take some notes on exactly what you were talking about, Howse.
Yes,
and
man.
For Bruzy to watch his mouth.
He's saying go Birds. I'm excited for that game. I most definitely am. 3:00. Like I said, we're not going to hold you guys too much longer, but we want to talk Royal Rumble. We got to continue what we are talking about here, and that's predictions here. I just want to go real backwards really quick, and we don't have to talk about this too much, but I wanted to ask this because I meant to ask it earlier. We're all in agreement. KO's not going to win the ladder match, but I do want to ask you guys this to keep it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see blood?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we
so
see
too.
blood.
There's
gonna be some really cool spots. I could personally see Owens trying to do a stunner off of the ladder.
Ooh.
And maybe missing and going through a ladder setup on the apron. Something like with those, maybe a big fall off the top. My biggest wonder is though, are they going to bring out the giant ladder that the Hardys brought out, because this is a big moment.
You know what I would like them to do? Like we've been watching ECW for weeks now, months, honestly. I like them to be able to have those smaller ladders to beat each other's ass with.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, the ones that a Sandman would just chuck out of nowhere.
Yep. I like those.
Lou saying Cody is bleeding 5 minutes in.
I can buy that.
I can buy it.
He's also letting us know with Cody involved, absolutely there will be blood.
For sure.
There will be blood.
There will be blood. Listen, I'm excited for it. I just feel like the elements are there for that. And Bruzy sees it. Bruzy sees it too. So yeah, Motor City Machine Guns for the tag titles. We got Cody Rhodes retaining. All right, guys, let's get to the Royal Rumble matches.
The main event.
Let's get to the Royal Rumble matches. I'm excited to hear what you guys got. Let's do it. The women's Royal Rumble match. I'm going to start with the voice here. I've been starting with Grun a couple times here. I'm starting with the voice. Who's your give me your last 3 and your winner. Let's keep it interesting. Let's do that. Who's your last 3 and your winner?
Okay, my last 3. I'm gonna say I think we get Charlotte Flair back.
Absolutely.
So I think she'll be one of my last 3. I think Mi Chin is having an epic moment these last few months, and I think she's gonna. Yeah, I think she's gonna be top 3. And then my third and my winner, I believe Jordynne Grace will win Royal Rumble.
Oh my
and become
God.
the winner, because we are setting up, like you fucking said, Grun, the WrestleMania that you want to make the most money at. You have the most capabilities. You put Jordynne Grace in that main event for a women's title. That's money. That is money. That is taking the indie scene and becoming a TNA star, and then becoming somebody who is going to become a WWE star. You've done the full circle. You have done everything that Trips is trying to promote and Trips is trying to bring forth. And the fact that you've done all these accolades throughout your career, this would be a thank you. This would be a, you have done it. You have become what you set out to become. And that is my prediction. I know it's a bold one, but I really think that's where we're going with this, because everybody else has a story that you could go into leading up for a big thing at Mania. Everybody else. You have, Bianca. She can go into anything. Her and Jade. If you bring Jade back in before WrestleMania, start that feud, have that break, do whatever you want there. A Bailey, she's got anything she could want to do is right there.
Yep.
So that's my pick. I that's what I think is going to happen.
I like it. I do. I like that you took a swing like that. That's it's not a bad thought. Grun, what you think, bro?
All right, so I'm going to say I'm going to agree on Charlotte. She's going to be one of the last 3.
Mm-hmm.
I am. You almost sold me on Michin, but I thought I think people were more upset that Dakota did not win the Intercontinental Championship. So I think if you have her in Final 3, you're going to have there's going to be a lot of backing her.
I could see that.
Number 3 is going to be Bianca Belair. I think she's going to be one of the final 3. My winner, I'm going with Dakota Kai. I think with Dakota Kai, I think you get a monster reaction, and Dakota Kai has been the story. The last 6 months have really been Dakota Kai has had really a bad string of luck in WWE, and they've really been pushing her as the underdog babyface, and I think fans are buying into it. And this also doesn't negate and cancel out the idea that Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton are battling out at WrestleMania.
Man.
Okay.
Oh my God.
It also leaves open the opportunity for Jade and Bianca to have their feud at WrestleMania.
There's that too.
So do we think they bring back Jade at Rumble?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it happens.
I think
it happens at Rumble.
Okay.
Rumble. I don't think anything gets revealed. I think the only thing that we see happen at Rumble is Jade runs in. Bianca and Naomi are already in. Bianca's thrilled. Naomi is Jade fucking throws her out immediately. Throws Naomi out immediately. Then immediately eliminates Bianca. This makes people tune into SmackDown. Like, what the hell happened?
Yeah. because there's still that story there with who pushed her off that ledge onto that windshield.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's still there.
Yeah,
It's still there.
and what this can do, this can lead
Correct,
to
Bruzy. There
Nope,
are no friends in the Rumble.
Nope.
None.
Trust
None.
no one.
True. So, man, you guys really got my wheels turning in terms of this women's Royal Rumble. I'm loving all the possibilities. I mean, definitely Jordan Grace is somebody that we can see come into this thing for sure. That would be great.
A guarantee.
Um,
Be in it.
Yeah, and then Charlotte Flair is coming back for the Royal Rumble match. That's going to be a big one. But I think one that a lot of people aren't talking about really is Becky Lynch. And I think that there's still a world where Becky Lynch could return. I still even believe with the contract disputes, there could still be a possibility Alexa Bliss could return. But I want to stay with Becky Lynch. I think there's a lane that I've been thinking about for Becky Lynch for a while, specifically. And I don't know if I'd have Becky Lynch come back and win the Rumble, but I would definitely have her come back, and I would definitely have her on Monday Night Raw. And something in me, and I talked about this with Annie O'Neill on the Raw deal, and she asked me an interesting question, and it really got my wheels turning. What would make the PFC work? What would bring the PFC, Pure Fusion Collective, to the main event scene of WWE? And my answer was, well, affiliating with somebody that's legitimate, that's a main eventer. And she asked me who would be that person, and the first name that came to mind is Becky Lynch. I would love to see Becky Lynch come back to the WWE as a heel and lead the way for the PFC, a bunch of badass women, and she be the leader of that group. And then, you could have her be the women's world heavyweight champion. You could have two of them be the Shayna and Zoe be the women's tag team champions, and that faction would just be dominant across the women's main event scene for WWE. So I could see Becky Lynch being in the last three. I could see Bianca Belair, and I see Charlotte Flair, and I think Charlotte Flair is going to win. I think Charlotte Flair is going to be the winner, and that's going to lead us right into possibly her versus Ripley 2, but more likely her and Tiffany Stratton.
Yep, I like it. I believe it.
I mean, that seems to be a very logical way to set up so much stuff for some of the top three talents of the women's division. And I know Charlotte's been away for a while, but it's Charlotte fucking Flair, people.
Right.
Yeah.
She has already made her claim to fame.
Her gimmick is she jumps the line, bro.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's her gimmick, bro.
Like, I mean, I could see it happening. I could see it. I think, though, that this is the one Royal Rumble for the women that you have so many possibilities that the men don't have in their Royal Rumble, and to continue storylines. The women's is so open because there's so many avenues you can go with the pure talent that is just WWE's women's talent, TNA's women's talent. Because honestly, I would love them to do a 40 women's Royal Rumble. Just keep the men's at 30 if that's what they're going to do, and to do 40 women Royal Rumble. Because there's a lot of talent you could bring in.
A lot. And that's a good question to have. That'll be our closing thoughts as we call this a really great episode. And that's the topic of a 30 person Royal Rumble versus a 40. We're gonna get to that before we slide out of here. But okay, so we've got I'm saying Charlotte Flair. Grun said Dakota Kai, and Voice, who would you say again?
Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace. That's right, Jordan Grace. Okay, I like that. I like all those picks. It's good, man. I'm excited, man. It's gonna be fun because we get a chance to come back next week and really have some high energy going into the Sunday house party for sure. But listen, we have to talk about the men's Royal Rumble match. We have to. And I had to leave this one for last. It's not gender this, gender that. It's got nothing to do with that. Listen, household. this is legitimately one of the biggest Royal Rumble matches, one of the most star-studded Royal Rumble matches that I could remember in a very long time. We're talking John Cena's final Royal Rumble in his quest for number 17. We're talking Roman Reigns trying to get his ascent back to the top. He got his family back. He got his Ulafala back. Now he's trying to get his title back in his first. I would never, Bruzy. I would never.
You gotta
But
love Bruzy.
I love Bruzy, man. I love Bruzy. But his first Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns' first Royal Rumble in 5 years, ladies and gentlemen. CM Punk, who came out with an injury from last year's Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble was where it was his final straw, and he walked out of the company all those years ago. That's where it all started. So a controversial thing for CM Punk is actually the Royal Rumble. Then you have all these elements like Seth Rollins, Sami Zayn, Rey Mysterio, former Royal Rumble winner, Shinsuke Nakamura, former Royal Rumble winner. Like all these guys, Jey Uso now going to probably state his claim to fame there. And let's not even talk about the fact that we can see so many names like a Josh Alexander, like a Nick Nemeth, like a Joe Hendry. Like this is literally one of the most star-studded Royal Rumble matches in years. So I got to throw it to you, Grun. It's going to be heavy on your shoulders on this one.
Yep.
Yes, Del Rio. What do you mean Del Rio?
Potential. So from what I've seen, from what I've heard, Alberto Del Rio has been mending fences. His criminal charges are at least 4 or 5 years old, which could mean that the charges may have been dropped due to a lack of evidence, he has made some poor choices in his career. Supposedly, before he started dating Paige, he was married to someone else, but she had passed away due to an illness. So in that there could have been a lot going on with him personally that just added on and made some very poor choices. But it does appear that he is working the independents. He is mending fences. He's trying to get himself back to where he was. So I don't think that he's entirely lost. Elgin, on the other hand, I think he's a name we don't talk about anymore.
Oh man, you must mean Michael Elgin.
Yeah, that Elgin.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, like that
one. I don't think there's any coming back from that.
Heavy stuff. I know he's been putting stuff out there, trying to clear his name with some things for sure. But listen, Del Rio. With Del Rio, he has been working the Indies. I will say that. I don't know if we see him in the Royal Rumble though. At least not this year for sure.
It's probably gonna be a few more years at least.
Yeah, but I want to note about him. He was the winner of the biggest sanctioned Royal Rumble match in 2011, the 40-man back in 2011. He was the winner of that one, and they did set him up in WWE to have a lot of moments and be a top guy for a long time. So if he can clean it up and turn it around, I think we're all like in the mindset of like people, if they're willing to work towards it and mend the fences, to give him a second chance. So let's see what happens. I mean, once again, I don't know I don't know anything or nothing about no Del Rio, but I will say this Royal Rumble match is going to be massive. It's going to be big. And damn it, Bruzy's on fire today.
I know. Bruzy don't stop.
No,
I know. I love it. Bruzy's on fire. All right, boys. Well, no. I said Grun.
Oh, yes.
Your top 3, and then who's your winner?
All right. I had to think hard about this, but I got my top 3. My top 3 are CM Punk, John Cena, and the man who is always ready, Matt Cardona.
Oh my God.
But I am going to give in, and John Cena is the winner.
John Cena's winning. Okay.
Because I've been looking around, and Matt Cardona, he's not scheduled for anything this next Saturday. And I do not believe he is contracted to TNA or any other promotion.
No, so I don't think he is either.
This could be where Matt Cardona makes his debut in WWE.
Most definitely. I could definitely see it, and that would be sweet. But I like the idea of Cena winning, and Cena getting involved in. I mean, him and Gunther could be good. Him and Gunther could really be good.
Oh my God, yeah.
Gunther knows how to naturally cut deep, and he's just really finding his groove as a heel champion. John Cena, the last chance. And honestly, to be honest with you, I don't think I don't think anybody would be mad if John Cena beat Gunther at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. I just don't. I don't think anybody would be mad. I think it would be a decent, respectable reign for Gunther, and I think you would.
Yeah.
Of course
He
you
doesn't
would.
need to win titles on his farewell tour. That's like Kiss getting golden guitars on their farewell tour. Who cares? You're going, you're leaving. You need
It's
to not
number
win titles.
17.
I
Number
don't
7. That's the
care.
story.
I want Orton to go past him. I want Orton to have more titles than John Cena.
Oh,
Yeah. But I'm just a hater. I'm like Bruzy. We're just trolls.
Just trolls. You guys are just some trolls. But I do want to ask you this: are we seeing Randy in the Rumble?
Yes. 1000%. Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say 1,000%, but I will say, yeah, there's a good 80% chance we see Orton back at the Rumble. It's a perfect spot for him to come back. And like I said, there's so many storylines that you kind of have to stick with the men's Royal Rumble. And Randy Orton coming back and getting vengeance is one of those big stories that need to be told. But I mean, honestly, I have Cena winning the Rumble. I mean, I will say that.
Oh, okay.
I do have him winning the Rumble. I just, I don't need him to win a title.
Sure. Okay. So since you have him win, well, first off, who's your final three? Let's get to that, and then I'll ask my next question.
So my final three, obviously John Cena, he's winning for me. But I think you pull people from Cena's past for the final three. CM Punk being one of them. Yep. And that's if, he's able to withstand the Rumble. I mean, he is CM Punk. He's old. Let's keep that in check. Sure. But I also think maybe possibly Seth Rollins. You have those as your bottom three, just because Seth Rollins, we're going to see him and Cena in this farewell tour. Absolutely. We're going to see them go against each other, and it's going to be spectacular, because even if I don't like John Cena, putting him with a guy like Seth Rollins, both men highlight and have great matches because of the caliber that they can go with talents like that. So emotionally, I'm all for Rollins on that one. But storyline wise, I could see Cena getting a win over Rollins. And I really think he's going to win the Rumble. I have this feeling.
Okay, so that leads to my next question then. What is the story for Royal Rumble winner John Cena? What path do you have him going in?
I like the Gunther match. I do, but I need him to take Gunther like Grun alluded to earlier when we talked about Gunther. He went to a war. He was through something. I need that to happen. But in the same breath that I'm going to say that, I'm also going to play devil's advocate. And if you give John Cena that win over Gunther at WrestleMania, what better way, Grun, than to take Gunther and make him the guy that you wanted him to become to get that title, losing to John Cena on a farewell tour? What kind of man does that say you are, Gunther? Huh? Like that plays into exactly the story you've been trying to weave for Gunther. And you motherfucker, Grun, you might have talked me into it. And I don't and I don't want it. Oh, you don't have my consent on this one, Grun.
Well,
man,
Brie Garcia has my consent. Brie Garcia, apparently she's at the game today. Philadelphia Eagles. She is rooting for the Eagles.
Wow. Okay.
Well, you found a new person to idolize on your John Cena farewell tour.
Listen, I'm excited for the John Cena Farewell Tour. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. But I'm going to give you guys my final three, and then I'll tell you who I think my winner is going to be. And it's going to be good, man. I think our final three is going to be Roman Reigns. It's going to be John Cena. And it's going to be CM Punk. And
I like that.
Of course,
powerful. But that's a powerful top three.
That's a power three. That's a power three. But listen, the reason why it could be any winner is because everybody has to. Damn, Brucey is just cutting. My God. My God, I love it.
Damn.
I love it. Brucey is on fire.
Yes.
But the stories that's involved, Voice and Grun, is what I'm really loving. So you have Roman Reigns, first time in the Royal Rumble, 5 years. He's trying to regain his empire with his family, with his Ulafala, and ultimately the championship. Then you have John Cena, farewell tour, looking for number 17. Can he get it? And then you have CM Punk in search of a WrestleMania main event, something that he's never had in the entirety of his career. That's goosebumps. That's magic. That's anybody could win this thing for sure. But I don't know how, and I don't know why, but I think a favor is going to get cashed in, and it's CM Punk is going to win the Royal Rumble. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't put my finger on it right now, but I just feel like that favor is going to somehow come into play, and I think that favor is going to be to the detriment of Roman Reigns. CM Punk wins the Rumble.
The favor is in play.
I don't know how to tie it yet, but it's just in my head.
No, that's interesting because that is a factor that I have, just so like a rookie, forgotten that that's a big play. What is the favor?
Yes.
What does the favor mean? What does it get CM Punk? Because it's a favor from Paul Heyman.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
A very powerful man, and never had to defend a title, never had to take a punch, a 1, 2, 3, but he has been behind the men who have done that. Some of the greats.
Yep.
CM Punk being one of them. Wow. That's interesting.
I don't know how to tie it in yet.
That is interesting.
But I think the favor is going to come into play, and I think CM Punk is going to win. That's one of the reasons, not only because of the story, but in order for this favor to come into play, for it to really be juicy, CM Punk and Roman Reigns both have to be in the final three, or at least the final two. Because I think whatever it is, and it's not going to, I don't think it's going to be something like Heyman eliminating Roman Reigns out of the Royal. I think that maybe, I don't know yet. There's just something that I think Heyman could do that will cause Roman to be distracted or something, and that's going to give CM Punk the opportunity to put him over the top rope. I don't know what it is yet. I need more time to think about it, but I'm telling you, I just feel like that's where they're going.
Let me ask you this, Grun, before we get your comments.
Yep.
So we all know, well, I don't know if we all know, but there has been a lot of discussion that Lesnar's accusations he was cleared from.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I already know exactly where you're going.
You need a favor, and you need someone to distract, or something to distract. What's more distracting than hearing Brock Lesnar's music and him walking out in a flannel doing Brock Lesnar shit? Because he said that he's not done. He's never, and all we've been waiting for is all this stuff from his part to be cleared, and which it was. We there's been reports everywhere about it. So let me ask you this: is Brock that favor? Is
Brock could be that? Brock,
He could be.
Because Heyman's going to, and outside of that, granting whatever favor it may be, Heyman's going to need protection. And I'm sorry, but 40-year-old CM Punk ain't protecting a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in a brown paper bag. It ain't
Not on
happening.
his own, no.
No, especially when you have a Samoan family coming after you after that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Excuse me.
You got to be formidable.
Need a beast. You need Brock Lesnar. So that is how I get you there. In my head, that's how I get you there.
That would be insane. The roof would come off the place. What if he was 30, bro? Like, and listen, here's the thing. What if there is an agreement in place? And because I like this here. Look at what Bruzy is saying. This is disgusting right here. Brock, Reigns, and Punk are the final three, and Heyman has to make a decision. So, like I said, this,
oh man, who do you go with as Heyman?
Yeah, man. Where do you go, bro? But like, what if you do have those three and oh my God, what if they convinced Brock to be CM Punk's heavy and they eliminate Roman Reigns and then Brock eliminates himself, and then CM Punk win. I mean, that would shock everybody. That would shock. I don't know if they go in that direction, and I don't know if Brock Lesnar would be okay with eliminating himself just off of a favor. But like, damn, dude, I don't know how you get that. Favor's got to come into play, and I do think that Brock Lesnar could be that favor.
I think Brock would do that because of who he would have behind him after that is done, and that is Paul Heyman, a man who got Brock to every promised land in the WWE Brock ever wanted to go, a man who built Brock, who spoke for Brock, who made Brock's life easy to just come in and destroy stuff, not say a word. That is the man, Paul Heyman, and that is who I need. That connection back. I don't need Heyman, CM Punk. I need Heyman and Brock Lesnar. We need to hear that again.
I think it's time, man. I think that I don't think there's enough right now to really be like, oh, we're against Brock. Brock is this, Brock is that. I don't think there's enough evidence or anything out there for us to just let him come back. You know what I'm saying? Bring him back for the Royal Rumble, most definitely. That'd be amazing. I don't know the path, but I just say somehow, some way, CM Punk wins the Rumble, that favor comes into play. I'm down for it, and I'm just down for everything, dude, because this is gonna be amazing.
My mind is going like one of those boggle shakers, because if you do bring Brock back, you have him in The Rock at WrestleMania because of what he did to Roman in the Rumble. You have Rock versus Brock, WrestleMania. Oh my God. Like,
we're just building it for him, bro.
Oh yeah.
We're just building it for them.
I
love it.
My boggle mind.
I love it, bro. I love it. It's awesome stuff. Listen, it's gonna be a great night. I know I keep saying that, but Bruzy, man, I love it, man. He's killing it in the chat. Killing it in the chat.
No, he won't, because anyone who listens who's like, what? But Brock is definitely like, Janelle Grant never mentioned Brock by name, but she mentioned Stephanie McMahon. She mentioned Vince McMahon. She mentioned John Laurinaitis. She mentioned everybody else. All she said was a former UFC heavyweight champion. She said that because if she legally said Brock Lesnar and had no evidence that Brock Lesnar was the one, Brock could sue her for libel and defamation, and then she is. I said I wasn't going to curse anymore, and I've been doing all right with that, but she's fucked. If she, if Brock can prove that she is guilty of libel, defamation, she's fucked, and the money she wins from Vince McMahon means nothing.
Yeah, but she did what was for her. And that's respectable. She didn't name his name. We as fans and others took that information and assumed it was Brock. Yeah. And you know what Brock did? He just went to his house in Canada and hunted that whole time. He did podcasts of friends of his, of people he wanted to talk to. And outside of that, he hunted because he knew there was nothing. He wasn't named. Yeah. So
honestly, I just got to say, I love the fact that he's just, he's unfazable basically, bro.
Yeah.
Like he's
You
gonna
can't-
go and he's gonna do. He don't like people anyway, so he don't care what
he
people
doesn't.
think about him.
Yeah. No,
That
and
does
it's
not.
like-
That man does not harmed one bit about what people think about him because he don't like people. He's
No.
made anything with Brock Lesnar, anything that I've seen with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar together. They've made it clear that Brock Lesnar is not a people person. He's not a people person in the slightest bit. So this man doesn't give a damn what people think about him
exactly.
in the slightest bit. He's gonna go and he's gonna hunt and he's gonna farm and he's gonna be proud of his daughter that does, you know, that is a collegiate athlete, and he's just gonna live his life. Yeah, she's a beast, and like he don't get. And if he wants to come back and entertain us again, just let him come back. Like,
Yeah,
we all love Brock Lesnar. I'm sorry, there's not enough. There is not enough evidence right now on anything for them to make me hate Brock Lesnar. I can't, I won't. Brock Lesnar has been a joy to watch in the WWE, and unless he has killed somebody or raped somebody or something, I enjoy this man and what he's doing. There's not enough evidence for me to hate that guy.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I think we here at IYH are with you on that one, because ultimately he's Brock Lesnar. I mean, just what are you going to do? He absolutely, like you said, he does not like humanity. He prefers to be in Canada hunting and making his land and whatever he wants to do out there.
Yeah. Listen, man, here's the thing. I enjoy the Royal Rumble. We're going to enjoy the Royal Rumble. We're going to be in the building. It's going to be a massive weekend. I'm so excited. And, you know, I got to say this. I'm excited. Like, it's going to be cool for me for sure. Like, this is going to be a big birthday for me. But man, like, my son, you guys know he's going to be doing the in your house stuff when I can't do the in your house stuff no more. You know, he's going to be going to his first ever Royal Rumble, and it's going to be a great memory for him. My wife is going to be going, and here goes Bruzy once again, coming and being a complete madman and unhinged in the chat. Thank you, Bruzy. I appreciate you, bro. You are great. But yeah, man, it's going to be a massive event. I'm just excited, man. Like, and you know what? I'm really excited to live in the moment, you know, like,
yes,
to take it all in, to see it all, and just really, and man, it's going to be fun. I'm just excited, man. I'm so excited. So before we slide out of here, call this a really great episode because we've got, and you're seeing it here in the chat, we got the Eagles and the Commanders coming up 3:00 Eastern Standard Time. I want to make sure I'm in front of the couch to watch that, and I'm excited for some football, for some championship football. It's going to be great. Then in a couple weeks we got the Super Bowl. Next week is the Royal Rumble. Man, what a great time it is to be alive on a Sunday afternoon, talking some wrestling, getting ready for some football here at In Your House. But the topic that I wanted to talk about before we got out of here, Voice and Grun, is there was speculation on the internet that there was going to be a 40-man and 40-woman Royal Rumble. And happy early birthday to you, Lou. That's awesome. My birthday on the Royal Rumble, your birthday on the Super Bowl. That's dope. That is sick. Yeah, man. That's awesome. But 40-person Royal Rumble match. And then I was excited about that. And the reason why is because they have the talent to fill up a 40-person. And then on the shows, you're hearing promos and you hear guys like Jey Uso saying, I'm going to throw 29 other men over the top, or, you know, and so now I believe it's confirmed to be a 30-person Royal Rumble match on each side. I got to say this. And then, you know what? We've got guys like, that's right. That is right, Lou. Most definitely. My guy. Hey, that's all right. That is all right. 38. 30's the new 20, fellas. 30's the new 20, fellas. Let's enjoy it. I know I'm gonna enjoy it at the Royal Rumble. But 30-person Royal Rumble. And then I was listening to Chris Van Vliet's podcast, one of his episodes, and he made a good point that anytime they have they had the 40-man back in 2011, and then I think they had the 50-man for the greatest Royal Rumble, and like after a certain number, it just kind of drags along and kind of runs long. So I get that aspect. Point made by Chris Van Vliet on his podcast Insight, but then also I still feel like they have the guys to fill, especially in this day and age with this current roster. They got the guys to fill a 40-man. I guess, Voice, where are you at? The pros and cons, what's your thoughts? 40-man, 30-man, what would you rather see and why?
Well, I would rather see a 40-man, to be honest. And my reasonings are, in a 30-man Royal Rumble, when you do have the surprise that may be a Hall of Famer coming back and things like that, like I say all the time, you take away from a talent who could have actually been in the Rumble and maybe have made their mark. Because I've said it multiple times, the Royal Rumble is that, what I say, the 5 minutes. You get 5 minutes in there, and when you do get in there, what you do in that time is how the fans are going to treat you from there to WrestleMania. We've seen likes of Kofi Kingston become a Royal Rumble god in just the ways of invading, being eliminated. We've seen monsters of men just chuck other monsters of men. Kane throwing however many it was. It was in the teens, wasn't the upper teens or maybe low 20s? Anyways, Kane was a beast. He made his mark outside of just being a monster, outside of being the Undertaker's brother, outside of all that. When it came to the Royal Rumble, he was something to watch. So that's why I'm saying a 40-man gives those 30 men who are guaranteed, who are there every week, putting in the work, doing the stories, building the fan base. It gives them that time. And then you have 10 to play with. And I think that in this day and age, it's a perfect way to do a Royal Rumble because of your connection with TNA, because you can bring some cool talents over from that. And that truly is why I think a 40-man Royal Rumble, that's why I got so excited for it this year, because I was like, oh shit, that means that TNA is going to have a lot more people being able to join. That means, NXT is going to have a lot more people going to be able to be in there, you know? So that's my point of view. And it goes for the men and women's. I honestly think the women's, you could definitely do a 40 women's.
Oh God.
And
100%.
it would be fantastic.
100%. Yep. Yeah. No, I love what you're saying, man. Once again, I'm erring on the side of you, Voice. I think we have the roster for 40-person. I really do. And I hear everything that Chris Van Vliet is saying. I honestly love listening to Chris Van Vliet. I enjoy his podcast. I enjoy his insights. He's very good. He is the #1 wrestling podcast in the world for a reason, and it's because he's thoughtful in his answers and his interactions with his fans, and it's great. And yes, he have great upscale interviews that probably help those views? Abso-freaking-lutely. He has those ties. But I've listened to some of his solo podcasts that he's done, and I just got to tell you, the guys are really thoughtful. He's not just a guy who eats off guests. He can really string a podcast together. I really respect what he does, and I think that he's a standard for what we do for sure, absolutely. But I got to say, they got the guys. They got the guys and they got the gals, most definitely. And, man, I just think you set the stage for so much when you have that. I mean, like I said, this is the Royal Rumble, man, and you have so much elements that you can have with this, and I just think that you can add to those elements when you have a 40-person. But I gotta ask Grun, man, what do you think, man? 30-person, 40-person, what would you prefer to see? Where are you at?
Well, I'm gonna say I am pro 40-person Rumble. I think for a lot of reasons that Josh pointed out, but I think we also need to now. Yeah, we don't particularly like the guy that won the 2011 40-man Royal Rumble anymore. However, let's remember who was the other person who was the other one of the final two. It was Santino Marella. It was the year Santino Marella really got hot, really got over with his silly Cobra, and the fact that he hit the Cobra on Del Rio to almost win, but the crowd erupted in a
Crowd
roar.
lost their shit. I
Roar.
would
Yeah.
never
Lost
forget
their
that.
mi-
They
It
lost
was
their shit.
when-
They thought he was really gonna do it.
Yeah, like it was. So even if the 40-man Rumble can feel a little bit long, the right finalists of the Rumble match can bring people back to life and get them super excited, super over, and you can either be like a Del Rio, get massive heat, massive hatred from the fans for stealing from them, and it just make it something really special.
Yeah,
Dude, you are correct. I mean, remember when Shawn Michaels skinned the cat?
Oh my god, yes.
When he skinned the cat, that became one
Yes.
of the most epic Royal Rumble, and I mean controversial too.
You're-
Some
sure.
say feet may have touched. I don't think so. I think he cleared it. But like you say, Grun, those last two competitors can bring it all full circle. And I get where Chris is coming from,
Yeah.
but I think he's missing the element of with TNA that makes the math equation for a 40 mile. Yes, exactly. So you're not drained. You're not like that. So I think he might be overseeing that aspect of it.
You know what I would like to ask him, or what I'd like to ask you guys? What I'd like to ask you guys out there in the household as well as our great panel here. So let's say they don't do it this year. Royal Rumble is a one-night event this year. There's of course speculation that a lot of these big events could go to 2 nights. So what if in the future we get a 2-night Royal Rumble that will include a 40-person Royal Rumble on each show? Right?
Yeah,
That'd be perfect.
I love it.
Perfect.
I love this idea that the big four, and only the big four, goddammit,
Yeah, that's
only
it.
the big four.
That's it. That's
get
it.
2 nights. Like that is completely a good idea. It is great. Maybe because now you are really putting all the other 3 on the same level as WrestleMania. It's like they're so big, they're so important that they need 2 nights.
Yep. I love it.
No, I agree. And even if you get into more of the expansion of WWE in the further future, I'm not opposed to making one night the women's and one night the men's.
Yeah,
for sure.
And just having, because I'm telling you, and you guys know it, I say it all the time, this women's division can carry a PLE by themselves, and it would be just as good as the males.
It would.
So I would love it. I think, and it would give so many. A 40-person Royal Rumble for both sides would be so spectacular for everybody involved in wrestling. So much.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree. I know I brought that topic up in our group chat a few days ago, and I just really wanted to touch on that. You know, like I think that we are in a maybe here's the thing. I think 2011 was a time where they had the right idea, but the roster wasn't ready for that yet.
Yeah.
I really
totally agree.
I really don't think the roster was ready for a 40-man in 2011. Now they are most definitely ready. I wanted to have that conversation, and Grun voice, I gotta say, this episode's been fun. It's been a fun episode, a fun ride all the way through. Man, just another great episode here at In Your House. Always therapeutic when we can come together and chill out and talk some wrestling. But I got to send you guys on your way, and I got to be on my way myself because there is some football to be watching about a half hour. And I know my man Grun, he is excited, chomping at the bit to check that game out. I know Lou is the same way, most certain, but I'm just happy to see some championship football, and I'm going to sit down and enjoy it for everything that it is. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give my man, the Grunmeister, an opportunity to plug anything that he has to plug. Grun, where can they catch what you're doing?
You can catch me at twitch.tv/Grunmeister, where every Friday I give you my Grun's Room SmackDown review show. show, I go over the previous week's SmackDown and I gear you up for that week's SmackDown, as well as maybe some rants on things in AEW or non-pro wrestling related.
Hey, that is okay. We love it. We appreciate all the content that you put out here for In Your House. It really is appreciated, man. It truly is. It's helping just so much in what we're trying to build here. And I think we're all looking forward to, I see you, Lou. I see you, Lou. Enjoy it. Have a good time. Just enjoy
I
a
can't
nice.
see you, Lou.
Uh-oh.
You're speaking nonsense.
Hey, man, I'm just saying. Those Commanders, they've been fun. It's been an interesting ride for that. And listen, man, speaking of a guy who's fun, because on Fridays he has a lot of fun getting extreme, and that is, of course, the ECW Watch Along, ECW Hardcore TV. And he does a lot of great work for us on Mondays with window lickers and sends you into Raw ready to go. Voice, where can they catch you? Everything that you are doing, and man, just let them know.
All right. So if you want to see more of my silly antics and my blue-eyed villain friend's silly antics and some chaos, we have a goblin. He does it. His name's Kevin Calloway, and he joins me in the Grunmeister 4 Monday Night Preview, where the window lickers go live. And we're brought to you by IYH. So come join us, be a part of the household, be a part of the Grun's Room, be a part of the Window Lickers on Mondays at 7 p.m. Me and my friends, we talk 3 subjects. One of them is like a general discussion where we get everybody involved. And then the other 2 are my co-hosts. They take over and they talk the topic they want to talk. So come join us. That's Mondays at 7 p.m. here. Just tap in. You'll be able to see it. Subscribe, like, follow. Give us a chance, because we will entertain your Mondays and we kick you off right before Raw to make you that smartest kid in the sandbox. So if you're not tired of me, then you can join me, like Howse was saying, where we get extreme on Fridays. We go back in time and we watch ECW Hardcore TV. We just had a spectacular one. It was one of the best house shows we've seen. And like we talked about, WWE, you don't see them change titles at, I don't know, maybe a Saturday night main event or a house show. But ECW used to trade titles at gym shows. Yes, we've seen it. We witnessed it. And it was fun. So come join me in House, where we get extreme with ECW. That's the watch along, the ECW watch along Fridays. You can join us. It usually kicks off anywhere between 6 and 6:30, and you can be a part of it. We welcome everybody to join us. And lastly, you can find me here at a house party, doing what I do, talking, giving out opinions. I picked Jordan Grace. Put that on your bingo card, because it might happen. I feel that it's happening. So join me here, everything IYH does, because there's so much content that we put out weekly.
Yeah, we sure do, man. We sure do. I'm really proud of everything that we do here and the hard workers that we have here. Another hard worker by the name of Annie O'Neill. You can catch her on Wednesdays with the Raw Deal. Kevin Calloway is amazing. You can catch him on Window Lickers, but also himself, Ray Larson and Paragon. They come together for Dear Pro Wrestling, which is for wrestlers by wrestlers. It's great stuff. Most definitely check that out. Once again, we're riding heavy into 2025. I'm proud, man. I'm proud of everything that we are doing this coming up weekend. I mean, it's one thing to be a part of the Royal Rumble. It's a whole nother thing to be a part of the wrestling community as they welcome the Royal Rumble here this coming weekend. I know I keep saying it, but I'm fucking excited, man, because this is literally setting up to be, for me personally, one of the best weekends of my entire life. And hey, I'm happy that it's coming at a time right now where I can just really appreciate it and soak it in, because that's exactly what I'm going to do, man. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Other than that, guys, you can catch me right here doing my thing at In Your House with some great creators, and that is not going to stop. We got a great string of shows, and hey, we got some ideas for some more shows coming up. We might have some more watch-alongs coming along, and you never know what In Your House is going to do. Lou, most definitely, I appreciate you, bro. Happy birthday to you too, as it's coming up in February, both February, guys. Like I said, a lot of excitement. If you can't hear it in my voice, I don't know, you might want to check your heartbeat or something, because I'm excited for everything that is going down for sure. And you know what? This is the fruits of In Your House's labor to be able to do something like go to the Royal Rumble and be a part of something so big, because it's all a part of the work. And that's HOWSC, and that W does stand for work. So for the Grunmeister, for the voice, Josh Joseph, for Hypocrisy Jones, for Relentless Ray Larson, for the Chaos Goblin, Kevin Calloway, for Divinely Designed Danny O'Neill, for the world's most dangerous podcaster, Paragon, I am Alakan the Concept House, here to tell you to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to hop on this bandwagon, get on or get gone, because the household is still going mighty strong. You guys have a great day and a great rest of your week. Peace.
Yeah. In your house with O'Kon. Hey, O'Kon in your house. Hollywood in your house. Hypocrisy's head in the clouds. Curating all kind of loud. Wrestling in front of the crowds. Paragon's holding it down. Anybody can get it. Josh Joseph standing on his decisions. He is the voice. There is no choice. We is them boys in your house making wrestling noise. Moving fast just like cruiserweight action. In your house is the perfect distraction. Rumpus in your ears when you in traction. Get this work with some wrestling action. Smoke.